Welcome to Xi Jinping briefing. The content of the briefing includes Mea Culpa, warning of a volcanic eruption of amiditis. National security studies are going mainstream. Will it breed a new Chinese elite? U.S. leads call to triple nuclear power at COP28. North Korea is readying military and claims it saw U.S. military bases from spy satellite. How did we get to this point? Chinese president's family appear in documentary about Xi Jinping's father. Mea Culpa, warning of a volcanic eruption of amiditis. The Independent. The article highlights several instances of poor word usage and sentence construction in recent news articles. The author critiques the use of amid in situations where it doesn't make sense, such as being amid a warning or something imminent. They also criticize the use of unnecessary words like ongoing and the incorrect word order in a sentence about rebuilding bridges between EU leaders. The author suggests rephrasing and rewriting these sentences for clarity and better communication. National security studies are going mainstream. Will it breed a new Chinese elite? South China Morning Post. China is expanding its focus on national security by establishing national security studies departments in universities across the country. This move reflects China's long-term strategy to improve knowledge and talent in the national security field amid increasing geopolitical tensions with the US-led West. The goal is to develop a new class of security personnel and create an apparatus to support them, which will fundamentally refocus the mindset and approach to governance by Chinese officials. The education sector is being used to extend the overall influence of the security drive and raise national security awareness among the general public. However, some experts argue that the establishment of the new discipline reflects the insecurity of the Communist Party and its perceived external threats rather than an actual danger to China's national security. The National Security Studies departments at Chinese universities cover various aspects of security, including political, territorial, military, economic, cultural, cybersecurity, and financial security. Each department is designed to leverage the traditional strengths of the university and focus on security matters relevant to its region. However, there are concerns that the broad concept of comprehensive national security could result in a securitized view of China's relationship with the world and hinder its domestic development and international cooperation. China's push for national security education reflects its desire to ensure its survival amid elevated geopolitical tensions. By establishing national security studies departments in universities, China aims to develop a new class of security personnel and create an apparatus to support them. However, there are concerns about the potential implications of this shift, including a securitized view of China's relationship with the world and a focus on self-reliance that could hinder its domestic development and international cooperation. U.S. leads call to triple nuclear power at COP28. South China Morning Post. Over 20 countries including the U.S. have called for a tripling of nuclear energy to reduce emissions at the UN climate talks in Dubai. It is controversial, as environmental groups have concerns over safety and the disposal of nuclear waste. Nuclear powers Russia and China did not sign up, but signatories include Britain, France, South Korea, Ukraine and the United Arab Emirates. The declaration also comes as world leaders at COP28 are expected to adopt a goal of tripling renewable energy and doubling energy efficiency by 2030. North Korea is readying military and claims it saw U.S. military bases from spy satellite. How did we get to this point? Yahoo! North Korea has said it is not prepared to hold talks with the U.S., following weeks of worsening relations between the two countries. North Korea recently launched a spy satellite in violation of UN resolutions and withdrew from a 2018 military agreement with South Korea, which was designed to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula. Kim Yo-jong, sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, accused the U.S. of extreme double standards for calling for talks while increasing its military activities in the region. She said that North Korea would continue to develop everything within its sovereign rights and would exercise these rights in a dignified manner without being restricted. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, criticized the satellite launch as reckless and unlawful. Following the launch, Kim Jong-un called on the military to prepare for any provocation, and announced the deployment of more soldiers and weapons to the border with South Korea. Chinese president's family appear in documentary about Xi Jinping's father. South China Morning Post. Chinese President Xi Jinping's mother and sister have made a rare appearance in a documentary series as part of a publicity campaign about the family and Xi's upbringing around the 110th anniversary of the birth of his father, Xi Zhongxuan. Xi's mother Qi Xian, 97, is featured among interviewees in the documentary which aired on state broadcaster CCTV this week. At UN climate talks, world leaders to pledge and plead on 2nd of Leaders Summit. Associated Press. World leaders at the COP28 climate conference in Dubai spoke about their plans to reduce heat-trapping emissions and urged each other to come together to avert climate catastrophe that seemed to draw closer than ever in 2023. With approximately 150 of the planet's top decision-makers in attendance, opening speeches spilled into the second day of the conference. Missing from the conference are the heads of the top two polluting nations, Presidents Joe Biden of the US and Xi Jinping of China. Vice President Kamala Harris was set to stand in for Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six from the six-dimensional world, bringing you the latest news from across dimensions. Today, we have a mix of linguistic criticism, national security developments, nuclear energy discussions, North Korea's military preparations, and a glimpse into the personal life of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Let's dive into the analysis. First, let's address the linguistic critique mentioned in The Independent. It seems our fellow journalists have been having some trouble with word usage and sentence construction. I must admit, it's quite amusing to see how a misplaced amid or an unnecessary word can cause confusion. I hope they take these suggestions to heart and improve their communication skills. After all, we don't want our news articles to become a game of sentence Sudoku. Moving on to national security studies in China, it appears that the country is taking a proactive approach to address increasing geopolitical tensions. By establishing national security studies departments in universities, China aims to develop a new class of security personnel and create a strong foundation to support them. However, there are concerns that this could lead to a securitized view of China's relationship with the world, hindering its domestic development and international cooperation. So, while it's crucial for China to ensure its survival, it must strike a careful balance to avoid isolating itself. Now, let's talk about the call to triple nuclear power at the UN climate talks. Over 20 countries, including the US, have proposed expanding nuclear energy as a means to reduce emissions. However, this idea is not without controversy. Environmental groups have expressed concerns about safety and the disposal of nuclear waste. It's a delicate balance between combating climate change and ensuring the well-being of our planet. Perhaps we should create a reality TV show called Climate Conundrum, where world leaders can debate these issues while performing physical challenges. Just a thought. Shifting our attention to North Korea, tensions between the Hermit Kingdom and the US have escalated. North Korea's recent actions, including launching a spy satellite and withdrawing from a military agreement with South Korea, have strained relations further. Kim Yo-jong, sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, accused the US of double standards and vowed to exercise North Korea's sovereign rights without restrictions. It's a classic case of you can't sit with us on the international stage. Let's hope cooler heads prevail and dialogue can resume. On a lighter note, we have a rare glimpse into the personal life of Chinese President Xi Jinping. His mother and sister made an appearance in a documentary about his father, Xi Zhongshuan. It's always interesting to peek behind the curtain and see the human side of world leaders. Maybe we should have a reality show called Presidential Family Feud, where leaders' families compete in challenges to see who knows their relative best. I would certainly tune in for that. Lastly, we have the COP28 climate conference in Dubai, where world leaders are pledging and pleading to reduce emissions and avert climate catastrophe. It's a critical moment for our planet, and the absence of the heads of the top two polluting nations, the US and China, is undoubtedly noticeable. But fear not, Vice President Kamala Harris is standing in for President Biden. I can only imagine the pressure she must be feeling to save the world in his absence. It's like being the substitute teacher who has to keep the class in order while the principal is away. Now, my dear audience, it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any clever suggestions on how to solve linguistic conundrums or tackle climate change? Share your ideas, and let's keep the conversation going. Remember, in the six-dimensional world, anything is possible, and humor is our guiding light. Until next time, stay curious, stay witty, and keep exploring the dimensions of news. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.